Hey everyone, Shaedow here, and welcome to another Marvel Contest of Champions video. So in this video, we're going to be going through the first quest of the second chapter of Mystery in the Microrealms, which is the second and latest variant difficulty to drop. So you can see the team that I decided to go in here with, and the path that I have chosen is the Resistor Power Gain path. Alright, and you can see the global nodes there. That bully is something a little bit different, so pay attention to that. If you have one of those champions, you get some advantages by using them in this quest. But throughout the variant difficulty, you're going to have to deal with 3 global buffs that are going to change your playstyle. So you have Particle Protector, Size Matters, and Micro Reflect. So every champion throughout this difficulty has a chance to glance your attacks, and your glancing attacks can't be crits, and so you're going to do a lot less damage. Then you have Micro Reflect, which is going to reflect damage back to you when you glance. So that's a bad day. Size Matters affects the size of the champion that you may want to come in here with. So from small to large, you have a variety of things that they can do where their attacks won't be glanced. Heavy attacks are never glanced. Then as you move up, you'll be able to intercept or use your specials. And of course, if you have extra large champions, they can come in here and none of their attacks can be glanced. So if you have strong extra large champions, that's what you want to use. I didn't, so I made do with what I had. And it's definitely doable. As you can see, Dr. Voodoo took out that Spider-Man symbiote despite the fact that he wasn't able to use a lot of normal attacks. I went in there and just used a heavy style until I could get to my special, and then fired that off, and then let the poisons do their work. And you're going to see me do that same thing here, because Howard the Duck, he has a lot of buffs. You see, he starts off with a lot of those armor up buffs. And then because of Resistor, he gets another buff. And so he is ripe for Dr. Voodoo. So all I'm doing here is parry heavy, which is what you'll see me do throughout this entire variant. And once I get to my special 1, it's over with. See, there you go, on an even combo. And the fight at this point is pretty much over. He's not going to survive those poisons. But I have to keep watch because he will get that Thunder Quack, which will do a lot of damage to me. And that's why I parry in order to stop that. But you'll notice that's all I did. Once I had the poisons up, all I was doing was parry to turn off the Thunderquack and let the poisons take him down. So no regrets taking Dr. Voodoo up to rank 5. I know a lot of people were skeptical of my choice. It was primarily a choice for prestige, but Dr. Voodoo is a beast. All right, so next up, we're going to be fighting Blade. And I chose Havoc. Now, the reasons that I chose Havoc here is for this purpose. Or for this reason, rather. He will get permanent prowess charges when he does a heavy if he has enough of his charges there. You know, he'll convert some of them into a permanent prowess when he fires off a heavy. Since that's the style that I'm going to have to use, since he's not an extra large champion, I thought it played into his strength. All right, so you can see I have already built up 2 permanent prowess charges, and those are going to make my special hit much harder. So that is my goal here. The strategy is to build up to 5 prowess charges and then fire off my special 3. Now, if I wait a little bit and wait until he has 10 of those charges on him, then it would be better. More damage. But just look at this damage here. It's not bad. All right, so I'm like, okay, all I need is another one. And then that happens. So I don't know if you guys are aware of it. It's a known bug. I don't know if they fixed it or not. But during a special, if you hold block like you normally would, or if you're trying to swipe back while the special 3 animation is still underway, you lose control of your champion for a little bit of time. Your champion will just run forward. He might run backwards, or he might just stand there. But it's a known bug. So what you want to do is not touch the screen at all during the special 3. Now, at this time, this is my initial clear. I either wasn't aware of it or had just learned it and was still not doing what I needed to do to avoid that. So what you saw happen there in that last encounter with Havoc was that, you know, right after that special, I just couldn't move. He fired a special 2 in my face, and it was over with. All right, so here we got Captain America Infinity War, who has a very strong heavy attack. He was one of my MVPs for Variant. Very, very powerful champion. Mine is a 565, and I do have max sig, but his benefit here is that powerful heavy attack. So any champion, if they're not extra large, if they have a strong heavy attack, then you want to go ahead and bring them and they'll be useful to you. So Captain America Infinity War, Hyperion, these two I know for a fact work very well in this variant. I've used them. Now I'm running suicides. I do not recommend running suicides for variant unless you just want to use more resources. Now I'm running suicides for my initial clear, but when I went back through for full exploration, I turned them off and saved myself quite a few units. I was able to go without spending any units, just items in my stash, for quite a while. I had fully explored the first 2 chapters, and I think it was only the last 2 quests of chapter 3 where I started using units. Might have been just the last quest, in fact. And I ended up spending a total of about 1,000 units to fully explore this. Much better than the first variant, which I did not like. I love this one. This one was designed very well. Those 3 global nodes that I spoke of in the beginning, those are the things that you have to be concerned with, but they allow you to bring in any champion that you want and just change up your style. And I like that. I like that better than just telling me, nope, you cannot use this class of champion or these classes. That was me, sorry. But in any case, Dr. Voodoo once again showing that he can put in that work. You know, I'm firing off my heavy, and once I get some poisons up on him, I just play keep away, let it, you know, tick down on him. And this is why Resistor is such a great node for Voodoo, because they're gonna have a buff, you know, and he will be able to convert. So not only will he have his Loas, he will also be able to convert those buffs. You see, he's getting, you know, those physical resistance buffs. So it's great for Dr. Voodoo. So here, I just need one more heavy because I want to do it on a even combo. And there I just kind of got a little bit impatient, took some damage instead of firing off the heavy. But there he's got his poisons back up again. And I'm just waiting because I can see that he's going to die from those poisons. And down he goes. So Dr. Voodoo, despite not being an extra large champion, still a decent option to bring in here. All right, so now we're going to be facing Wasp. And I was a little concerned with this fight. Wasp is not difficult to defeat. She has very little health, you know, very low health pool, but she has high damage. And it would not take much for her to just wreck me. All right, so there you saw I'm still getting used to the heavy only style here. And so sometimes I'll attack with a regular attack and take some damage because just not used to it. And then you see there, I started intercepting her heavy with my heavy. There I just mistimed it. Again, still getting used to it because that was her special. And I was trying to hit her with a heavy as if it was her heavy. All right, so there we go there. And I kind of mistimed that as well, but she didn't punish me. But this is why I was concerned with Wasp here. But if you have an extra large champion and you know how to fight Wasp, not a problem here. And just look at that damage Captain America did. You probably thought it was over with for him because he had such little health. But it only takes one good special 2. All right, so next up we've got Iron Man. Not a hard fight by any means, and we're actually almost up to the final boss. Now, I took a look again at the nodes just to remind myself of what I was dealing with here. But Iron Man, easy to fight, but one thing that I found is that even the easy fights become challenging when you're handicapped. So the handicap, of course, is the global nodes when you're bringing in someone who is not an extra large champion. So some fights, if you need to fire off your heavies a lot, they can be challenging. But here we've got Hyperion, and Hyperion, as I said earlier, is one of the MVPs for this variant difficulty. So what you want to do with Hyperion is basically fire off your heavies, you know, intercept with your heavies. He's a large champion, I believe, and so you can actually fire off your specials as well. So you can intercept with specials, you can intercept with heavies. So he has a little bit more leeway than the small and medium champions. So he's a really good option for here. Now, I'm cycling his special 3s mainly because I'm running suicides. And I'm almost up to the final boss, and I want to keep as much of my health as I can. And as you can see there, that's not the video. That is actually the game. That is what the game was doing. I was getting frame lag, and it cleared up a little bit. And I was purposely keeping my hands off of the screen during the special 3s because I did not want to get caught by that again. All right, so you can see there, I was able to fire off his special 1, and it does a lot of damage, but I take that recoil. But at this time, I was like, you know what, I just want to get the fight over with. I usually run max despair, so firing off that special 1, getting those incinerates with max despair actually helps because he gets that, you know, arc overload, but it will reduce his healing based on the number of debuffs he has. So max out despair if you guys haven't maxed it out. It is very useful. All right, so now finally we come to the final boss. Now this is my first encounter of this boss, and easily this boss was the worst boss that I had to face in here. So you can see what you're going to have to deal with on this boss, but you're going to see he was very difficult. I had not learned how to deal with him. By the time you've seen this video, I already have videos out showing how you can one-shot this boss. All right, but at this time I did not know. But during exploration, I was able to take him down without using any items pretty much every time. Sometimes I didn't do a one-shot, but I never had to use a lot of items. You know, one team pass through was usually enough. If I couldn't one-shot him, I cleaned him up with a second or a third on my team. All right, so as you can see here, mainly my suicides killed me, but I knew they would. I was trying to get a feel for this particular defender here, but he evades like crazy. That is the annoying thing about this boss. And as you can see, I'm just going through my guys. Any damage that I'm able to do to him is great. We will whittle him down eventually. My goal, of course, is to use as little items as possible. But again, initial clear. So both of them went down. You'll notice that I didn't bother trying to heal them up or anything like that. All right, and I brought in Morningstar, but I haven't used her. And I decided to see what Hyperion could do. Now, I want you guys to watch something here, and you should have already seen that video. If you haven't, look it up on YouTube. All right, now I messed up here, so I didn't get a chance to really understand the power of Hyperion. You know, that was just me, made a mistake. I mistimed my heavy. So I go in here with Morningstar, and Morningstar, you know, she's taking a little damage, but, you know, there we go, boom, and down. And I'm sitting here now at this point, and I'm just thinking, wow, this is ridiculous. So now, who am I going to use? So I'm like, well, I'm thinking Hyperion went out like a punk. But for right now, I want to try Captain America Infinity War. All right, now Captain America Infinity War has been an MVP for me. And I'm thinking, well, I'm taking a lot of block damage. And Captain America Infinity War has high block proficiency. And again, I'm running suicides. So I'm like, you know what? This boss is the real deal. Let me throw in a little 10% boost. I forget how many of them I had in my overflow, but I may have had something like 10 or 11 in my overflow. So now I'm like, okay, we're going to try to do this, and I should be able to last a little bit longer and do a little bit more damage. But you can see firing off heavies against this Adaptoid is dangerous, because he can, look at that, he can evade out of your heavy if you're unlucky, and then fire off an attack just like that, and there's nothing you can do. Before you can recover from your heavy, he's firing off an attack. Very annoying, very irritating Adaptoid. But since this initial clear, I have seen some videos of people one-shotting him without any problem with a variety of champions. Now, what you saw me do right there, I was trying to get just as much damage as possible, knowing that I was going to go down. And I took a lot of damage thanks to the global micro reflect. And the fact that Captain America Infinity War is not an extra large champion, so I took a lot of damage back, which took me out. But I basically fired off that special 2 in a suicide manner to take him down as much as possible. All right, so now Hyperion went out like a punk earlier, thanks to my poor play. But watch what Hyperion can actually do. And I didn't know it. This is only the second time I'm going against this guy, but I have a different plan now. And I'm like, okay, let me see what he can do. Normally I wouldn't do this because I'm running suicides. But look at how effective spamming his special 1 is. That is the key. So if you've seen the video, this is how you want to take him down. So notice that when I fire off the special 1, it incinerates him, but even if he evades, there's enough distance between you and him that, look at this, look how much that is. So spamming his special 1 is definitely the way to go. And that passive power gain that Hyperion has means that he can do that very nicely. Now there, I got, you know, too low on health, and then my suicides, not my suicides, but his attack finally took me out. But at that point, I realized just how effective that strategy was. And I made a decision here that when I came back to explore this I was not going to run my suicides. But for here, I was lazy and I was like, I'm not going to undo my suicides just for this one fight. So I just continued on, grabbed a few more resources from my overflow, and kept going. So, of course, I'm going to revive Hyperion because he showed himself to be the most effective. And from that point on, I only used Hyperion for that boss. And I fully explored that chapter and quest first. That's what I normally like to do. Once I've gone all the way through, I go back to the boss that I didn't like the most. And I try to do him first. And then go through and explore all the rest. All right, see there? He evaded it, but he was in no position to counter. And down he went. All right, so that's going to do it, guys. Click like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about this video. Hopefully this helps you out when you're going through your initial clear. And you guys have a blessed day.